Hey guys, this is Artful Kisses, and today I'm going to be coloring these adorable little Pomeranian puppies and talking about sucking up and learning things that we really don't want to learn for whatever reason. And I think that all artists have something that they absolutely hate to draw. And chances are, if they hate to draw it, they're not going to practice it a lot and they're not going to get a whole lot better at it. So it's something they're not going to be good at drawing. And I think it ends up being a cyclical thing. Like, if I hate to draw something, I'm not going to practice it and I'm not going to get any better at it. And if I'm terrible at drawing something, probably because I don't practice, I'm going to absolutely hate drawing it because it looks bad every time and it just feels like failure over and over and over again. And for me, the main thing is plants. I hate drawing plants. I feel like they always look terrible, and I'm getting better at it. I'm finally forcing myself to learn a lot of things that I've avoided for a long time. Another one of those things was color theory, and it wasn't because I thought I was terrible at it. I'm actually not entirely sure why I avoided learning it for so long, but it's something that's like, well, I can kind of figure out what colors look good together. And after learning color theory, I've realized that my main color schemes are legitimate color schemes. And it goes along with color theory, and I didn't even realize it. But I figured that I was kind of accidentally using it somewhat. But I finally decided, if I'm going to be professional, I need to look up this thing and learn it. Like, it came down to, am I going to be professional and responsible in studying and learning things, or am I going to just decide I don't need it and just take the lazy way out? And I don't want to do that. Like, this is my dream, is to be an illustrator, and I'm not going to accomplish that if I don't work on it. And obviously it wouldn't really be that big of a deal to me if I wasn't willing to just, watch a teaching video on color theory. And when I learned it, it wasn't all that difficult. It wasn't a waste of time for sure. There are things that I've learned that I was subconsciously doing, but now that I know about them, I'm able to consciously do them more often. And I've noticed a huge increase in the aesthetic in my pictures. And so I like cool colors, and my color schemes tend to be based on blue. I use really dark blue for my line art. It's about the same color as my hair, actually. And that's my default for line art. And after doing color theory especially, but I did do this sometimes before, if I was doing a picture that primarily had warm colors in it, I would use a deep red. It's about the same tone, but it's a different hue. It's red. And so I've kind of done that before, and I'm doing better now because now I'm using the contrasting colors and combinations that work well. And I learned a lot, and it was simple. It was not that hard to learn it. All I did was watch one video. It was a really good one. And if I remember, I'll put a link in the description to it because I'm not going to go over all of color theory with you. I watched one video. I took a bunch of notes. And I, later that night at work, I had some free time and a few gel pens, and I drew out every single color combination or color scheme I could think of off the top of my head that fit all the categories that were talked about in that video. So I have this little cheat sheet, and that was super helpful to me. I don't really look at the cheat sheet because doing those things helped burn it into my mind, and so I'm able to do it without really trying to look at references, or at least look at that reference. But I've started, when I'm looking at artwork or even watching a movie or anything, I've been trying to identify color schemes, what type of color scheme it is, and things like that, and just little exercises to keep it in my brain so that I keep it in the front of my mind, so that when I'm coloring things, hopefully I'll start to automatically do that even more. And it's been so super helpful. And it was kind of a big lesson to me because I made this big deal out of avoiding it when it was not that difficult. And there are some things that are super difficult, like learning how to draw plants, which I've been doing. I've been looking at references, and the main thing for me has been to, instead of trying to draw it super hyper realistic, I have been looking and trying to identify the basic shapes and just draw the basic shapes and make them very cartoony, kind of like my dogs here, and gradually add more detail as I become more comfortable with the idea. And I think that's how you have to start out learning to draw anything new. But don't freak out. You have to start somewhere. You're not automatically an expert when you start at anything. You just have to figure it out. And figuring something out is a gradual process. Some things will come easier than others, but give yourself that time to actually figure it out. And definitely, if you're struggling with something, but you know that it's something you should learn that fits into the style of what you're doing or the content or whatever you want to do, it doesn't even have to be drawing. It can be anything else in your life. It can be learning karate or trying to cook or just anything. Give yourself or force yourself to do it. If it's something you really want to do, if it's going to help you accomplish your dream, that's worth it. So force yourself to do it, and definitely give yourself a break when it comes to perfection, because no one starts out perfect. No one even ends up perfect. There will always be flaws. And even if other people start to see your work, whatever it is, and go, oh my goodness, it's perfect, you're still going to see flaws in it because you know what it looked like in your head. And it doesn't necessarily look like that. You're always going to see flaws in your work no matter what. So give yourself a break. But yeah, it just comes down to, is your dream worth it to you? Is it worth it to you to accomplish your dream? And I hope it is, because dreams are worth it. And keep learning. Back to my Pomeranians, for the tiny bit that's there, I added a little circle background because they're round enough. I thought it would kind of go along with that. And then those little outlines on there, a little highlight outline, I think adds a lot. And so I try to add those in my drawings when I get a chance. And I really like how the background on this one turned out. It was super simple, and I really like the colors I ended up with. So yeah, I'm really happy with these colors. And something that I can do in this updated version of the app that I just got is now you can select part of a layer and do stuff with that, which is what I did earlier to get the color of that puppy in the top right without changing the line art color or anything else, because all the color is on one layer. And then this I'm doing right here is just putting some white in the background because I noticed some of the blue was coming through in a couple of spots, especially on the white puppy. And so I just did that to make it a little more uniform, and it took care of those blue lines that were going through that puppy. So here's the final picture. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching, and now go create something.